Greetings, my saplings. In today's video, we are going to be discussing the Jordan 1 Crimson Tint in men's and also grade school. To be specific, like always, in these How to Cop guides, we'll be mentioning some release info, how to cop them, and of course, like always, some resale predictions. Kicking it off with the release info, the Jordan 1 Crimson Tint in men's and grade school will be dropping April 12th in the United States. Men's will be $160 and grade school will be $120. Unfortunately, for the Europe release, which happens to be most of the best retailers, unfortunately, we are going to have to wait for that until May 16th. Now, since it's also on the 12th, I figured I'd mention that the Air Max Susan is going to be dropping as well. The Air Max Susan missing link will be dropping for $170 on the 12th. Please don't sleep on these guys. There's definitely a ton of profit to be made on these. This will be a Leo drop on Nike sneakers, so the essential goal here is just to get in as many accounts as possible within around a 2-minute time window. So essentially just try to submit your payment on as many accounts as possible. Since you only have around 2 minutes or so, you don't have to worry about using the proxy switcher or UVPN or anything like that. You shouldn't be banned. But anyway, with those out of the way, why don't we move back to the Crimson Tints. First of all, let's briefly talk about the in-store releases and how exactly they're working, because there was a little bit of confusion going on. So initially on the foot apps, they were all reservations, all cities, like most releases. However, they did make an update to this, which made it very few cities were going to be doing the reservation system, and most cities were doing the first come first serve. Simply open up your foot apps, the Footlocker app, Champs app, Foot Action app, go to the launch locator, and you could check all the vicinities near you that are getting them via first come first serve. The locations I would personally suggest going to, even though they might be a little farther, would be the House of Hoop locations. But with in-store out of the way, why don't we move on to your guys' favorite, the online releases, of course. So again, sadly, the Europe drop is pushed back, so we are going to be starting a little bit later in the day since these are going to be US releases. And please note that I am purposely going to leave out a lot of stores just because I'm only going to list the ones that are going to give you a good manual shot so you don't get too confused, and I want you guys to be able to prioritize your time, of course, because everything's really just happening in a short period of time. But I'll try to break this down so it's as simple as possible for you guys. So starting at around 9:30 a.m. Eastern or so, the queue should go live for Finish Line and also Kicks USA. If you would like, you can use the multiple people jig for this. It's simply just more sessions, increasing your chances of getting into the waiting room. And once you do get into the waiting room, occasionally for Finish Line at least, it does kick you back out, and it's really frustrating, so you might have to have a little patience here. But then moving on to 10 a.m. Eastern time, you'll have to do a little prioritizing just because there's so much going on. So I've already removed a lot, so I'm just going to give you guys the ones that are going to give you the best shot manually. So first, you can feel free to try the Chic app and also the Chic website. You could also feel free to try Hibbets online at this time. There's grade school and men's on Hibbets. If you don't immediately cart on either of these places, I would suggest going over to Nike sneakers at this point and trying to submit as many accounts as possible. And after you've gotten in your desired amount of accounts, then you can head over to the foot sites. The reason I say there's no rush for foot sites is because although obviously, you'll be able to cop early, the trick with foot sites is really just spamming. There's nothing more to it. And you'll occasionally notice that if you're really persistent, 30 minutes into the release, you'll be trying to cart and you'll eventually cart. It really just takes a lot of patience when it comes to these foot sites. That's Champs, East Bay, Footlocker, Foot Action. I would not give up on any of these guys, even when you're really deep into the release. I put all the links where they're going to load up in the description. You can feel free to try on those. But anyway, moving on from the foot sites, I wanted to mention ShoePals. It's been a site that, you guys have hated for so long, and it's understandable, but it's honestly been growing on me. And the reason I say this is because although when there's a lot of traffic on the site, not only does it crash, but it's nearly impossible to cart. I would urge you guys to just simply check back on these links, check back on the site every once in a while throughout the day. Eventually, you'll find the traffic has died down and you'll be able to cart after a couple of tries. Stock does last for a significant amount of time. Not only that, but ShoePals does restock a significant amount as well. So in your free time, I would simply suggest trying to check out. That's it. Like I said, I intentionally removed a lot of sites from the video just because I figured it might help you guys prioritize. Some that I was on the verge of keeping on would be DTLR and Jimmy Jazz. You can feel free to try on those on the initial drop, and of course the ones I mentioned to continuously keep trying and be persistent with and you should be okay on this release. That's essentially it. So now let's move on to the resale prediction. On this release, don't expect incredible profit at all, but it's also not going to brick like the Phantom, so don't stress too much. When it comes to sizes under 9, it's really a great margin, especially in grade school sizes. I would not suggest sleeping on these at all. When it comes to Jordan 1s, as you guys should know by now, the smaller the better, but even when it comes to sizes 9, 9.5, there's still good profit there. And then any sizes 10 and up, it's essentially only lunch money, but still, if you might be buying them in store and you have no tax or low tax and you flip them really quick on the day after they sell out online, then there is a decent amount of profit to be made. Usually the prices do tend to rise around 10% or so after they sell out. The prices are absolutely the worst right before the drop, and then they sort of pick back up. So yeah, that's essentially it. I wish you guys luck on this release, although I really don't think you'll need luck. It should be easy for you guys, especially if you do plan on going in store. I know a lot of you guys have work this day too. It's a Friday. I hate when they decide to drop shoes on Friday, but that's of course because of all the shoes that are coming out on the 13th, that of which actually did do the exclusive access drop. So for all you guys who've been supporting me for over a year and who were following me on Twitter, you guys did vote on that, and for you guys, the majority of you guys did get exclusive access, which was just awesome to see that a tweet so long ago could help so many people. But anyway, I'm going to conclude the video. Feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed the video or if you perhaps learned a thing or two. Also, subscribe and turn on post notifications just to stay 100% updated on anything I mentioned today or in future videos. With that, I'll see you guys later. Have a fantastic rest of your day.
Yeah. Why are you always in my way, knocking me over every single day? Get your foot off my foot, ah.
Get your foot off my foot, yeah.
I should have run the other way. Now there's just one thing to say. Get your foot off my foot, ah.